Hey guys, Cameron Wilkinson here. A couple of months ago, we had the trade group's new experiential director, Adam Haas, in to film a bottom line. Well, we finished the bottom line, but then the cameras kept rolling and we kept talking. And what happened is we had a 15 or 16 minute conversation about all things experiential and brand activations. We listened to the talk and thought about cutting up into smaller videos, but it was so good, and Adam, being an industry veteran, has so many insights. We thought we would post the unfiltered conversation up for anybody who's interested in listening to it. But if you're in the events and the experiential industry, Adam has really good things to say. If you've ever had difficulty explaining to your family what you do, you might want to listen in to how Adam explains it. But if you like and enjoy what you watch or what you're listening to, please like and subscribe our channel. And welcome to the first episode of Show and Sell. Really easy to understand things when you use contrast to, like, if you look at a space, it's static.
Right.
Static, not moving, nothing's going on. And when you do and you activate it is you make it more alive, so people go into that space and they, I don't know, there's energy.
Yeah, you bring it to life.
Yeah. Like reading the room, if you're a DJ, you have to read the room,
Absolutely.
Understand what people are responding to, what they're not responding to, and people respond to different kinds of environments in different ways.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, my analogy to the event activation world is like the circus, right? Circus comes into town, there's nothing there before, they put up a tent, it's really exciting, you make memories, and it all tears down and disappears. Yeah. At its core, that's what experiential marketing is. You're taking a space that nothing is happening, there's zero activation going on or activity. You're rolling into town, right, with some kind of experience that creates memories. And then that experience disappears forever. And you just have to remember it and who did it and what was the brand and who put it on. Yeah. So it's a circus.
That's a really good analogy.
So for someone 65 and older, just tell them that we're in the circus business.
Yeah. Okay, what about this? Somebody 65 and older who is an old ad man, like an original in advertising.
Okay. Lucky Strike era.
Yeah, Lucky Strike era. How do you explain this new concept to them? If you had to go back in time and explain, like, I've got this idea.
Sure. It's not a new concept because in the terms of ad men and the advertising space, you had to take a still image and have someone have an emotional response to it. I see this product, I want this product. Then you see in the age of television, right? Why do car commercials always have a beautiful woman in the passenger seat with the guy driving the BMW, right? You're selling a lifestyle, right? But now what we've done is experiential marketing has allowed you to sit inside that BMW and take it on a test drive through the hills of Switzerland, right? Yeah. So that's the evolution. Take a stale image, evoke an emotion, create a commercial that makes you want something. Now allow them to actually touch it, feel it, interact with it. All three create memories of why you want that product. So that's the beauty of experiential marketing, and that's the best way that you could describe it to someone who still has no idea what experiential marketing is.
You know what? You just brought a memory of myself because I got into this with my in-laws, but BMW does that same thing. It's not a try before you buy, but they actually have their own racetrack, and they hired or brought on these professional racers to give a course. Mm-hmm. And then you get to time yourself, of course, riding BMWs as you take this course and stuff. I mean, that's experiential marketing.
Well, that's a experience that, X amount of people are able to have, right? Yeah. And I think that with a brand, the goal is to be, where can I go that has a high density of people in the demographic that would purchase my product, and place something that's going to make people see it, interact with it. The other idea behind it is, think about it. Like, let's say, a truck company decides to put a pickup truck in Colorado on top of two big stones a boulder as you walk by it. Yeah. Thousands of people can walk by it, and of those thousands, 0 can afford that truck. But everyone takes a picture with this activation. Someone online can see that and say, well, I'm actually in the process right now of looking for a new truck. that was worth the investment of doing that. So it's not even about the people who are physically there, it's about the people who are watching. And that goes to what we were talking about earlier, which is everything that we design in experiential marketing has to translate and look good on social media, or else you are completely cutting off an enormous audience who's looking at your activation of your product. So, again, it's really interesting if you think about it, like that evolution of advertising, now creating it where you can engage with something, but it's not about you, it's about who else is seeing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where advertisers still pay to be on TV or streaming services. I think now it's all about who could create the better experience for not just those people, but for people watching.
Yeah, thinking, because social media has changed everything. I mean, the original copywriters too were just selling the space on the newspaper, and the newspapers had so many, subscribers, so you could have a guesstimate as to how many eyeballs were on it. But with social media, and then the analytics that each one of the platforms has, you could just create something, put it out there. You don't have to go through that middleman process as much anymore. I mean, like you said, they still pay for the space on television and some print magazines and stuff like that.
Well, let me ask you, as a copywriter, there has to be a methodology of how you write content for social media posts and the generation of short attention spans. So how are you approaching on the social media side? How are you approaching the experience of reading, whether it's a caption or just content in general? What's the methodology behind that to create an audience that wants to read what you're posting?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely short and snappy copy. Definitely another thing that you can do on social media actually is research about the audience that you're going to try to engage. If I just go in and I'm writing something for the automotive industry, and that has a variety of sectors. Let's say we're talking about EV, electric, vehicles and stuff. I can just put a hashtag in. Hashtag EV, or I can do a trade show, hashtag, whatever trade show caters to that segment, and I can see what people are posting,
the analytics.
What topics they're writing about or what they're interested in from, this trade show on EVs that they were attending. And then from that, I can start formulating a headline or a caption that will hopefully get their attention, get them to click and stuff, get more eyeballs on.
So are hashtags still an important tool on social media?
I use them as like a preliminary research tool, right?
Okay.
And then they're also good when you're writing something and you're trying to get more visibility as well. And each platform has different rules for it too. Like, LinkedIn, you only really want to do maybe 3 hashtags. But Instagram, it's fairly unlimited. You can use just about as many hashtags as you want.
Right.
And then Twitter is really helpful because they've got the trending.
Right.
Yeah, and Facebook also has some trending that you can kind of ride that wave and use those hashtags for. Because it's just a conversation,
for sure.
Is all that it is.
So for someone like myself who designs and builds activations, from someone like you who's, let's put you in the expert category of social media, what should the approach be if a build needs to have the mindset that this should go viral or should trend on social media? Is it posting certain hashtags at the actual activation for people to utilize? Like, what should go into that ROI of, obviously we've created an activation, we hope people are going to put it on social media, but what approach as a social media person should be into making sure the audience knows what to search or how to find that activation?
Yeah, so you mentioned in there posting during the event. That is very important. So you have messaging and you have timing. And we've seen most of our stuff get the most amount of views and impressions whenever we've released a video or we've released an article that's happening as the event is going on. And I don't know necessarily if it's the people at the event that are consuming that content, but it may be the people who want to be at that event who are consuming that content.
FOMO.
Exactly. Fear of missing out.
Exactly.
Which has been around since the 65
Absolutely.
and older admin.
Yeah.
They'll understand that concept really well. So timing, if we're going to try to maximize the amount of impressions on the digital side of an event, timing is going to be essential. If you can release a video that's a little preview of the event to come to get people who are going to the event hyped up and the people who want to go to the event but aren't hyped up, That's the sort of things that we're going to want to look for, is that timing and then the key messaging. I mean, you can divide it as well in kind of 3 simple areas. You got the pre-show, at show, post-show, beginning, middle, and end. It's very simple,
Sure.
And there's not like any, when I tell people when it comes to, the copywriting or the social media aspect, there's not real secrets there. I mean, most of it is, I don't want to say, common sense, but there's no secrets. There's nothing going on in the background.
Right.
There's no like pop psychology or, deep psychology that's going to influence you subconsciously. We're not,
Sure.
A lot of people don't think necessarily at that level. It's fairly simple, pre, at, post. A lot of, people will claim deeper psychology and stuff like that, but from a lot of the studying I've done, it's fairly pop psychology. It's not.
Yeah, but I also think there's like,
and it gets a little scary too when you're like manipulation and stuff. I know David Ogilvy on advertising. There's a section in his book where he talks about going into a theater to review an ad, and he had ethical problems with it, not because of the the messaging was lying or anything, but because it was so hypnotic. He was worried that I may be misreading here. He was worried that it might cause everyone to go bankrupt because it would create, people who would just spend their whole life savings to get this product. And so for ethical reasons, he shut it down. That sort of stuff, I don't know if it's real or not.
right.
But it's captures the imagination.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that, again, the way that you approach traditional advertising is you want to present a product and have that person want that product. Yeah. When you put it in front of them, it's the old sales technique of handing someone the product but then taking it away from them. The moment you hand them something, it becomes theirs. They want it. So when you take it back, I think that social media does the same thing. People are at an event, they see an activation, they want to be there. Yes. And so even the idea of like recap videos, oh, you missed it. But nowadays it's, we're here now, come now. We're here till these times, or we'll be here tomorrow as well. So the access that social media has allowed for people to engage with brand activations, or really events in general, has really changed, because it used to be that an event's happening, maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I'll catch it next year, to, oh, it's still open, I'm gonna go because I'm seeing how great it is right now in real time.
We've talked about describing experiential marketing to 65 and older, but I'm interested in where the future is headed too. We've talked a lot about social media, but Meta's just come out. They're trying to create a massive experiment with the metaverse. Virtual reality is continuing to grow. Where do you see the future of experiential marketing heading?
Yeah, I think you're always going to have the demand for in-person or live experiences, but you cannot turn your back on the virtual or augmented reality that is just really so prevalent in our society right now. So I would not be surprised. We've seen some during COVID when people were at home. You had virtual concerts, through Fortnite or other platforms. I think you're going to start to see virtual reality brand activations start to occur in the metaverse, utilizing that so that you're consistently, if brands are going to stay up with what's current and use the technology that's at their disposal, I think you're going to start to see brand activations in that space. But I still am a big proponent that you should never get rid of the live experience. I think live will always conquer virtual, but don't be surprised if we see it, if we see virtual activations.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
And on your end, I'm curious to know, with all these new trends in social media, Threads just coming out now from Meta, TikTok being one of the go-to platforms, how are you changing your approach to overall social media marketing to be able to continue capturing the right audiences for what you're trying to sell?
Yeah, definitely much more video oriented. Previously longer copy would convert, and in some industries with some audiences it still does, but with this younger generation, short, snappy, and then visual aids are going to be huge. I mean, HubSpot just released their State of Marketing report for 2023, and this is the 4th year in a row that video content is at the #1 spot.
Wow.
For preferred for marketing directors and stuff to use. So, and when I think of virtual reality, I mean, that's highly visual as well. So what also is going to change the experience is the AI side of that, but that's probably another conversation for another time.
For sure.
But yeah, I know, speaking to the live events, I think it'll continue to take the primary spot, for the foreseeable future. I remember when COVID hit, my wife and I would go out to a concert, and we might have supported the band by buying a CD and stuff, but after COVID, it was like, no, we're getting the memorabilia.
For sure. Absolutely.
Everything was shut down for 2 years.
Yeah.
Didn't go to any events. Now when we go out, we're like, we're not just supporting them, but we're kind of investing more in these events, because you don't know, like, this is a reality of the world that we're living in right now. Events can be shut down. It makes events, the meaning and the impact of face-to-face, I think, has gone up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's just hope that live events stay alive.
Yeah.
Awesome.